about checking the boxes, things not mattering. You know, if you don't understand the community you live in, then it probably doesn't matter whether you mark Indigenous or not. But that's very important to know that that is a reality, whether it makes a difference in the long run or not. It's very important to know that Indigenous culture can be in the whitest of whitest cities, you know, whether it's Dallas or here in Austin, Texas. And back to this gentleman here, who's proud to be a Republican, and that's nothing wrong with that, because I'm proud to be neither. So it doesn't, we're all, you know, as long as we're all fighting, we're all here for the same reason, that's really great. But as far as the Republican issue and the ignorant issue, my question is back to the education of the census. We have known for a really, really long time that the census is coming, and that we all have to, whether our organizations or businesses or marketing companies, whatever it is that we do, is why we are not educating what this census is, what it stands for, the importance of it. And I'm an educator, and I talk to children every day of my life, hundreds of children every day, thousands every week, you know, thousands every semester, and they're all 90% Latinos, Mexicanos. Most of them are Mexican immigrants, they don't speak English. So all last year I've been talking to them to talk to their parents about the census thing. And they come back to me and they tell me that they talking from first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth. My question is, all these people here that are bloggers, that are writing, that are doing this, that have, you know, marketing companies and so forth, where have they been and what are they doing to educate the people in the community so that when they go get the census, they don't have to worry about these 5 check marks. They can just, back to what she said, go mark Hispanic and then your other one or whatever. You know, because it's not about mattering whether you check you're Indigenous or not. It's about mattering about what you understand, what the census is and what you do with it when you get it, and what the importance of it, back to what she's talking, because I'm really impressed about what she talked about earlier when she started speaking. And I want to know, just in a general sense, of any of you guys out there have any idea how much impact the education has had, if any education is out there about the census. And I'm talking like block walking, and I'm talking going to community centers and church meetings, not, you know, Twittering and blah, 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 and all this stuff, you know.
We'll start with Marisa, and then if anyone else wants to respond as well.
Well, when Rivera started this push for the undocumented not to sign or not to fill out the census, one of the things that he was telling them was, the minute you do that, the government's going to know where you are, and they're going to come, ICE agents are going to come, and they're going to deport you. And that's a very big threat. And that was enough to make people stop and say they're not going to do it. So when that came out, I did an op-ed for the Rio Grande Guardian. And it got very good coverage, it got into the community, but when you have somebody on the pulpit every week telling you the same thing, it's very hard to do anything from a distance. And so you're right, it's going to take local effort. And there are many groups that have sprung up, I know in South Texas, that are addressing this. From what I can do, all I can do is just keep on writing about it, telling them that's not true, pointing out you know, example after example. And luckily, little by little, people write to me and they tell me, oh, you know, we understand this, or why this would benefit. Because, I mean, I was pulling every kind of tactic I could think of. And one of the things that I accused the Reverend of was dividing the Latino community. I said, here, you're dividing the undocumented against the citizens. And he wrote me back a very lengthy comment, which you can go to the blog and read it. And he's telling me, you know, I'm not being divisive because I'm looking out for, you know, this congregation. And I said, whatever comes down the wire, these people will become citizens. I mean, it has been, I mean, everybody has said, what is so practical about supporting 11 million people? It's just not going to happen. You know, whatever hoops they make them jump through, nobody really sees them leaving. And so the bottom line is they're going to be here. And so trying to convince Rivera and his followers that, you know, this is going against the whole community, that's where the big battle is, because he's very influential.
Anyone else?
Well, I was just going to going back in my head about the DTV transition, and Ernesto was one of the people who actually worked on the transition, so I completely understand where he's coming from, but, you know, we knew about the DTV, nationally mandated DTV transition for close to a decade, and yet, you know, when resources were given to the grassroots to get the word out, I mean, we thought we knew our community, but we did not know our community, and we live in our community, and I'm going out into community and having to talk to people about the DTV transition, and everybody I talked to who knew about the transition was saying, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about the transition. Just shut up about the transition. And people on the blogs, on the newspaper and everything were like, if you haven't gotten your box by now, well then, you know, screw you, you know, like that's just, you know, what you get, you know, for being someone who waited too long. And we reached over 17,000 people, and we're a staff of less than 5, and people still did not know. And I think that is an example of how we can go back to our communities, or just in the office, or when I'm getting a manicure, you know, talk to people, and you would be surprised how many people don't know that the census is happening. They don't know how important it is. I mean, even my family has probably got the envelope stuck in a stack and just doesn't know how important it is. And, you know, after the transition, there were still people who didn't have their box. So, you know, there's not, we have to do due diligence on this issue this year, and we have to talk to everybody, just make it popular knowledge. The census is here.